This Excel exercise is meant to instruct you on how to develop a pivot table and also the VLOOKUP. It's interesting that the title of this is HR database because you think, well, what's human resources got to do with accounting? Well, this is just a method of instruction to show you how to use a pivot table and VLOOKUP in case you need to use that at some future point in your career as an accountant for looking up financial information. So let's take a look at this exercise. It's very short. Probably won't take you 10 minutes to complete this. So it's much shorter than the vacation exercise and also the OPEB, which will be after this one. So let me share the screen on this file that I've already opened up. There it is. Hopefully you can see that. And what we see here is a file that has about 5,000 employees on it. I Googled and found this data set that had 15,000 records from San Francisco. And so I deleted 10,000 of those just to keep it manageable. So what we have here is 5,000 employee records. If we look at the instructions here under the instruction tab, we're going to do two things. First of all, prepare a one-page summary that lists the total salaries by department, by year, and the number of people in each department. Where we can key in an employee identifier and pull up information on them from these 5,000 records. A lot quicker than sorting through that. So let's go ahead and jump in here to the data tab. And what we see here, if we're going to do a pivot table, we need to have our cursor up there in A1 and then go up here to Insert, top left. I think this is sharing. It looks like it is. Says it's not responding. All right, insert and then click on pivot table. And that's going to ask you if you want this in the same tab or worksheet or in a new one. So we're going to leave it as is. It's already got highlighted all of the data here, all 5,151 lines. Click OK. And that's going to create a new sheet here. So let's just change that sheet to pivot table. Down there at the bottom left. And then let's come back up here and click on the pivot table. And over here to my right is the dialog box that I want to click on these fields that are designated over here. So if you look at the data, I want to click on the year, I want to click on department, and the other one is salary. So those are the three fields we're interested in for this pivot table. So we want to click on the year. Let's click on department first. Not that it matters, but let's click on department. Yep, puts it down vertically on the left as rows, row labels. Then we want to click on the year. All right, and that's put that down at the bottom, but we also want to have, or we want to have the year actually across the top, don't we? So let's pull that up there to the top. See what I just did there? I left click and drag year from values down to, or up to column labels. It was right there. If you want up there in column labels, just left click and drag right there. All right, so we got the years going across the top up here. Then we just want to click on salaries right there. And so it puts the salaries down here by year, by department. But we also want a count of how many are in that, are comprising that salaries of, like this AAM Asian Art Museum, $103,241. So we need to actually pull salaries down here again underneath sum of salaries. And so now you got two sum of salaries. But one of those needs to be changed to, and you do that to count. You do that by hitting the drop down menu, which actually is a drop up menu, I guess. And then click on value field settings and change that from sum to count. right? Sum to count and click OK. All right, so that tells you, like for this first line, AAM Asian Art Museum, $103,241.04 is from 2 people. Again, this is just a summary report that you're putting together. All right. See on the next line there, this ADM General Services Agency, that looks like 1.277 million, 21 people. Let's do one other thing to clean this up. Let's get rid of those cents on each of those and put some commas in there and a dollar sign. So there where you see sum of salaries, click on that drop down menu again and value field settings. And we want to change the number format. When we change the number format, we're going to click on accounting and then make that 0. Leave the dollar symbol there and click OK. And then OK again. All right, so that's much more readable, isn't it? 1,277,723, 21 people. The airport commission has $2,190,818 for 36 people. So you're in essence are done with this pivot table. Very simple. Anytime you click outside the table, that dialog box goes away, doesn't it? Click inside it, there it is again, in case you want to change it. And you see all those data fields that are available to you based on this data table that's over here. All right, so the second part of this, the other half is down at the bottom of this page, we want to actually put in what's called a VLOOKUP. You may have used VLOOKUPs before. I've already got this set up with the area that I want you to do this. But we're going to do a VLOOKUP. And we want to use this field here, A5153, to be the area that you key in the actual employee identifier, which is column A. So let's just go ahead and put... let's say we want to look up 4302. So let's just put 4302 there. And then we want to do the VLOOKUP in all these other green boxes. So we want to put name. Let's do the first name. So we want to do equal to B lookup, left parenthesis, and it tells you, gives you the syntax there, lookup value. Lookup value is always going to be that column and that cell, A5153. Comma, we want to do this entire table. I'm not sure if there's a quick way to do this, but I'm just going to go from the bottom all the way to the top by holding down the left or left click mouse and then go all the way to the top and all the way out to the right to encompass this entire set of data. Then we want to do a comma. Of course, then I need to come back down here to the bottom again. Maybe Control N might get me there in a hurry. Yep. We want to do a comma. I don't have to back up there because now I want to actually find a column that's got this person's first name. Well, that's column B. But column B is actually what? Numerically, 2. And we want to finish that by ignoring and just put a 0 there and then the right parenthesis. So there you got it, Titus, 4302. If you key in 4302, Titus pops up. If I key in 878, Tisha pops up. If I put in 1965, Toby pops up, right? See how that's a VLOOKUP. All right, so that's the only thing you're going to be changing is that. But we got to finish this. Before we start copying this over and then putting in the correct column number, let me show you something that'll make it quicker. You're going to do an F2, which is an edit. You want to come back here and put dollar signs in front of the A and between the A and the 5, right? We want to keep that stationary when we copy either across the columns or down the rows. Absolute reference. I also want to do that here on the range. So once you put those dollar signs in there, hit enter, then we want to copy that from that cell to that cell, paste, You want to do it there as well. Paste. You also want to do it in these other three, but I'm not going to do that. I think you can do that at this point. But on the name, that was column 2. What's the last name? That's column C. So column C is what? A, B, C. That's 3. So again, I want to do a F2 edit, put in a 3 there. Salary is way out there. I forget where it is. Column P. So what's column P? Is that column 16, if I remember right? All right, $57,045. Yep, there it is, $57,045. All right, one other thing, of course, you're going to do total comp as well, job title and department. But on these salaries and total comp, I want you to change the layout of that and go up here to the top right here where it says number and click on the $sign, 57,045.30. I'll tell you what, go ahead and get rid of the decimal places by clicking that twice. 57,045. Do total comp, job title, department, you're done. See how easy. All right. Hopefully that's been sharing. I don't see the, there they are. You are screen sharing. Stop share. There we go. All right. I'm using this at home. My camera is not the best in the world, but we'll make do. All right. Hopefully get that turned in. Hope you learned something from it. Believe me, pivot tables are unbelievable how many companies use that and expect you to know how to use it. VLOOKUP, not as much. People talk about it in academia, but it doesn't hurt to learn how to use VLOOKUP. If you've already taken Infotech, what is that, 3310 or 3320? You've probably already done this, so this ought to be really quick, 5 or 10 minute exercise. And go ahead and submit that to the Dropbox. The date due is in the D2L calendar. It's also in the syllabus. So make sure you get that in. 5% of your final grade, so there's no excuse for not making 100 on this. And you're going to learn something in the process. All right. Hang in there, and we'll talk again soon.